that is not what I'm coming for. This does not seem real. So at that moment, I jumped into action a little bit on that email chain that we had. I said, hey, I reached out to the hotel. I think this might be a scam. Take it or leave it. I don't know if I'm going to be going.
Turn this up.
So a few things happened. So when we were trying to figure out the person who was hosting the event, they're trying to figure out, okay, where are we going to host it? And they were tossing out potentially Dave & Buster's. Maxwell Leadership is an elite organization. Like, why are we having a meetup at Dave & Buster's? Like, I know they have conference rooms and stuff like that. Eventually, they're able to work that out. They're like, we'll meet at a Marriott hotel. It was also, this meetup is in St. Louis, Marriott, like by the airport. So that was the first thing. I was like, this is kind of interesting. Second thing is when they're trying to figure out, are we going to have a meal or not? This was going to be optional. And then I guess when they chose the Marriott, they're like, okay, we have to pay for a meal. It's going to be $40, which I'm like, for lunch. I was like, okay, that seems a little bit on the higher end. I know it's Marriott. And then they said we would have to pay through Cash App. And I was like, this does not seem real. So those two things. And the third thing was where I was like, this is not real. And I took matters into my own hands a little bit. So the third thing that happened was, okay, we're at the hotel. There's going to be parking involved for it. And in order for you all to get discounts, you have to pay cash as opposed to going to the hotel. And I was like, there's no way. At this point, traveled a lot. I'm sure a lot of you travel a decent amount. Like, hotels do not take cash. Like, that's not a thing. And at this moment, we're on a huge email chain. So a lot of people on there. I usually with things like that, they usually BCC, but everyone's emails are on there. So I was like, this does not seem like the normal way we do things. Somehow someone got all our emails and is trying to get just extra money from us. Like, I don't know. This was what I was thinking, engineering, overthinking brain going on. So at that moment, I was like, okay, I'm going to call the hotel. I was like, obviously the hotel's going to know what's going on. Call the hotel, ask about what's happening. This was the day before, night before, maybe like 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. Hotel says, we don't know about the event you're talking about. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just under a different name because it's just an individual person as opposed to like the larger organization. And I said, okay, what events are going on this weekend? He said, well, we have like a youth sports team, like baseball tournament. I was like, that is not what I'm coming for. This does not seem real. So at that moment, I jumped into action a little bit on that email chain that we had. There are two people that are kind of coordinating things. I took off those two people, replied to everyone else. I said, hey, I reached out to the hotel. I think this might be a scam. They don't even know about this event between all these other things. Like, I don't know. I was like, take it or leave it. I don't know if I'm going to be going. But fortunately, through like my podcast, connected with the executive vice president for Maxwell Leadership. And I still had his contact, I had his cell phone number. And so I shot him a text. I think at this point, it was like at 9 o'clock at night. So I was like, I don't even know if he's going to respond. I don't text him like that. I'm like, he leads 50,000 coaches and speakers. Send him a text. He responds in probably 4 minutes. I was like, oh man. He responds and says, hey, Paul, because I sent him a text saying, like, I think this is a scam. Just want you to know, like, protect your organization, all those things. He says, no, Paul, this is not a scam. We are in Houston right now at a really great event. Looking forward to seeing you and everyone else in St. Louis the next day. Mind you, I had already sent this email out. Even though I knew I had his contact info, I also was connected with his executive assistant. I sent her an email. She ended up responding the next morning, confirming the same thing. So the reason I share this story is, one, we all make mistakes. So I think sometimes when you see people talking about a leadership topic or personal growth topic, it's a tendency to think like, oh, that person has it all together. This happened last year. So I'm not perfect. We all make mistakes. And I had the opportunity, like I said, didn't think about it in a moment because my mind was going 10,000 miles a minute. If I had just waited 5 minutes and reached out to him or his assistant, instead of jumping in trying to play the hero, it would have been much better.